Well, hello again there, YouTubers. We're back with our 1994 F150, which is a half-ton pickup, two-wheel drive. And today I'm changing the radius arm bracket, shock absorbers, and the radius arm bushings on the front. Now, I've already done the driver's side, so it's all done. But I'm going to show you how to do this little project here and the tools you'll need. As you can see, I've got my piece of cardboard that I can lay on, sit on, because I am in the dirt here. And there's my jack stand and a piece of plywood for it to sit on, so it's got a firm foundation. And my little 2-ton or 3-ton, I forget what it is, hydraulic floor jack, and a piece of plywood for it to sit on. Okay. And after I got into this project on the driver's side, I realized after I got it apart that my radius arm bracket did not need replacing. I thought it was going to need replacing, but that's the radius arm bracket. I bought new ones, one for the right and one for the left, but I did not end up changing them. I thought this hole was all wore out, but I couldn't really tell, so I bought the brackets. They seem to be good, and I'll take them back and get my money back. And to get that off, you would need a little 4-inch grinder or an air hammer, big cold chisel and a hammer, something that you can knock the rivets out. When I do it, I use this little grinder, just grind the heads of the rivet off. Then you take a punch or something and a hammer and punch the rivets out. There's 4 holes in this bracket, 2 there and 2 there. One comes with a nut and a bolt, so there's only 3 rivets that you have to take out. And you could drill those rivets out too if you want to use a drill and drill bits. The new bracket comes with a little package that has 4 new bolts and nuts, so you can remount that. You don't have to rivet it, you can just bolt it on. And you would use a couple of inches. It's an 18 millimeter and a 15 millimeter. You could use 3/8 drive ratchets or a 1/2 inch drive, whatever you got. I just used these 2 wrenches. You may need some cleaner. I got some carburetor cleaner, and I don't know what happened. I had a roll of paper towels here. The dog might have took them off and playing with them. Some paper towels to wipe your hands, grease, things like that. This is my new shock absorbers. They're Monroe's. Okay, you could use Gabriel or whatever. And this is the old shock absorber here. Okay, and you can see the oil stain on the side. That's a real good indication that your shock absorber is no good. If it's leaking oil, it's shot. Now, if you take this shock and you push down on it, if it's all the way extended, and you let go, it should push back all the way to the top and extend itself. So we know for sure this one's bad because it does not do that. That definitely needed replacing. These are the bushings, the radius arm bushings, and you can see here, these are the new set. There's this cupped ring, some instructions here, gives you all the torque specs. The nut behind this big washer is 100 foot-pounds. The one for the lower part of your shock is 50 foot-pounds. And the one at the top, I just hand tightened it. And then your bushings go together. This goes into your cup. Like this. Well, we got something going on in the skies here. I don't know what. Sounds like an old World War II plane. Just I can't see it. I'd like to gotten a look at that. It was real low. Anyway, these are the new parts here. And these are the old ones I took out. They didn't really look all that bad. Somebody had put some sort of compound, some goo or goop or I don't know. And the old washers, and I replaced all that. That's where that carburetor cleaner came in handy, was cleaning that goo off of everything. I can hear that guy. Well, be darned if I can spot him. Oh, there he is, there. Just a little speck. He might have been doing aerobatics or something. Okay, back to the... If you're doing any grinding, be sure to have some eye protection. I have a small putty knife here. I use this to cut the old rubber off the top of the shock absorber. Ford, when they put that in there, they put it in with a machine of some kind. You can't get it out. So I just use that to cut it and separate the two halves. You'll need an 18 millimeter wrench, a 15 millimeter wrench. Okay, to get your shock absorber off. And you'll need a socket. This is a 1/2 inch drive, 16 millimeter. This is an 18 millimeter, I'm sorry. An 18 millimeter socket for your shock. And this here is an 1 1/8. So this is a standard size 1 1/8 socket. That's for the big nut on the back of the radius arm. Okay, and this is my 1/2 inch drive torque wrench. Okay, and my toothbrush for cleaning parts. There's a little dish for cleaning parts if I put some solvent in there. My knee pads, if you need knee pads. It's kind of in the gravelly area here. And a little dish to put lug nuts and parts and nuts and bolts in so they don't get lost. Of course, hydration's important. My Gatorade and my water. Okay. And I've got a can of solvent that I use to put some solvent in there and wash things. Might need a ball peen hammer to tap a bolt or something in that's stubborn. A pair of gloves, nice little gloves there. And of course over here is my hat for the sun. And my bag here that I keep my dirty rags in. My 4-way wrench for taking the lug nuts off, putting them back on. Okay, this here is my 100-foot extension cord for powering my grinder, which we're not going to do because it looks like these brackets are fine. And I've got like a 24-inch crowbar for horsing things around to get things lined up, get the bolts back in the holes, move that radius arm around. I've also got a couple of digging bars that I use to kind of push the jack forward, try to get that radius arm back in the hole, and just kind of pry things around. You could use a 2x4, a 4x4, or something. Maybe if you had an extra hand. I don't have a helper here, so you know, whatever you need to do, come along or. But this came in handy. This here is a clamp, a woodworker's clamp. Okay, that's a woodworker's clamp. And I don't know, that's about 2 foot long there overall. But I needed another little 1/4 inch that I couldn't get, and so I went and dug that out and stuck that down underneath there and was able to clamp that front I-beam to that bracket, that radius arm bracket, and just tighten that last 1/4 inch up so I could get the nut started on, and got it clamped back together. But that's all the tools that I used to do the project. So let's get started. The first thing I did is I took my crossover wrench here and I loosened, just broke the lug nuts loose. Okay, there's 5 lug nuts, just loosened them up a little bit. And then we'll put the jack under there and the jack stand. I also have the tire turned a little bit to the left. On the right side, you'd turn it to the right, a little bit on the right side, turn it to the left. I'm sorry, the left side, you would turn it to the right, and on the right side, turn it to the left a little. And that kind of keeps, when you get the tire off, that caliper and stuff will be a little more out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to get the set up here for jacking it up.